Thank you, Kansha. Thank you, Rashmi ji, for having me here and giving me time. I think, as you rightly pointed out, Akansha, we started this journey about 2 years back with Neetu ji during the COVID pandemic about how difficult it is to get everybody on the same page and get every patient an opportunity to listen to a wide variety of options, treatment options, wide variety of professionals, support systems. And I think she would be very, very happy to see what you and your team have been able to accomplish by bringing such honorable and esteemed professionals. And they have also obliged so kindly to come and spare their time on a Sunday for the sake of the cause. Having said that, I would say there are several concerns, and a lot of speakers have mentioned this very beautifully, so I will not spend more time on this. As a medical and psychiatric social worker, I have to, and professionals like me have to look at this, any illness and any person living with an illness at a very different with a very different approach, as an individual, as a family, as a health system, as a public health issue, as an issue of advocacy, as an issue of psychosocial means, access to resources, whatever is happening in the context, and also, of course, what is happening inside the person. So several things that I will be able to, I would like to talk about is, first of all, a summary of where this conversation started from. This conversation started from the fact that our patients are not able to access a lot of information and awareness. They are not able to reach professionals on time. There is a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of tough decisions to make. Am I audible? Is there any problem?
You're audible, but your video is off, Sreepriya.
Sorry?
Your video is off.
My video is off. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. All right. So a lot of that was the reason we started this conversation. Then we started talking to a lot of our patients in this very particular group, and then we got to know the first-hand lived experiences and a lot more concerns about mental health and what is affecting the quality of their lives. So there is a lot of grief, there's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of shock, there's a lot of denial, there's a lot of overwhelming feelings of panic and anxiety. There's an information gap between the professionals, service providers, the patients, the caregivers, and we have still not come together very holistically as the same system with where everybody has a stake. So I think that was the larger vision with which Neetuji and I started working. And of course, the team and the members themselves, the warriors themselves have come forth with so much of energy and enthusiasm that I'm very happy in the direction that this is going in. So as continuing that conversation today also, I would like to highlight on very specific things. A person, when internally disturbed, is not able to make the best decision for themselves, irrespective of whether there is an illness, a physical medical illness or not. In today's day and time, a lot of people are suffering from issues and challenges within themselves. They are undergoing a lot of grief, a lot of trauma, a lot of anxiety, a lot of difficulty in adjusting to their roles, their situations. And in general, we are a generation, or we are living in a time where everybody's internal resources are stressed very much. So in addition to the general climate and the general dissatisfaction, if we also have something like a grave, a serious or a medical condition about which even the experts know limited things, and there is there is a delay, or there is some time that is taken for the information to trickle down from the experts to the people who actually need this information, then there is of course a lot to be done. And then there is difference in access. So I think what has been brilliant and marvelous about this entire conversation for the past 2 hours that I've been listening is that the professionals acknowledge this very much. They're empathetic professionals. They are professionals who want to help out, and they're reaching out. So now the other end of or the other barrier is towards the public side. Now it's great that we have internet, we have education, we have some amount of scientific exposure where we can understand the language of a doctor patient conversation to some extent. My concern is, of course, the limitations and the challenges of people who can't do that. For example, is there a language barrier? Is there too much technical jargon which maybe we need to step in and simplify for the benefit of the patient? And is there also a frequency and more necessary interactions with a supportive kind of care group, which I heard Dr. Rajan mentioning, which is a wonderful point. I think our understanding of palliative care in India is very, very different. It's about everything else has been tried and tested, and now just reassure the patient that we are there even if we can't do anything. I think with any illness which is very serious, I think that is something that our Indian context and philosophy and cultural values kind of prepare us a little bit for. Anything can be thrown at you at any point of time. So be prepared and help each other out is kind of the basic foundation for a lot of us. But in case of illness and this specific illness, my study and understanding has been, of course, with the inputs of the members over here, that this is a difficult illness to accept about oneself, and it affects women more. And it affects women more when something affects their appearance, their mobility, and their capacity to perform their roles that they want to perform. So a career is affected, a family life is affected, uh, and their confidence is affected, their sense of being a woman is affected, a sense of body image is affected. There is a lot of shame, there's a lot of guilt, there is a lot of feeling like, okay, I'm not financially contributing, I'm not physically contributing. So there are a lot of concerns around this, and the younger people have been more vocal about this. So I can only imagine what generations of people have been facing the stigma of not being able to open up about these issues. Now, I'm not saying that women don't face this issue. Women without scleroderma are not facing this issue. They are also facing this issue, but the illness is compounding the problem. So I would say that this is a great opportunity. I will not take too much time. I will just highlight these issues and I'll keep the floor open. The rest of the time, whatever I'm permitted, I'm happy to take questions, because this is definitely not something that I have to tell the members. It's a discussion because we need solutions that are participative and collaborative. We have, Rashmiji and I have also spoken a lot about how to put up, how to represent these issues at a macro level. How do we represent these issues at a government level, at a corporate level, with parents, with caregivers? Caregivers also need a lot of support. It's not that they're, these paragons and angels who will continue to constantly support. They also tend to ignore a lot of their own mental health, a lot of their own health issues. So when we are taking care of a person, it takes a lot of people. Secondly, we also miss the fact that this is still an individual. It's not a disease, walking and talking disease. It's a person. A person has their challenges, but a person also has their unique talents, their strengths, their personality, their own resilience. And there is a story. There is a possibility of making meaning out of a life. And it doesn't stop just because there is an illness. So there is a possibility of discovering that for the person themselves. So there is a need to bring out these voices, like so many of our members have been speaking so beautifully about the risks they have taken, the leap of faith that they have taken, a little bit of pulling and pushing, their own struggling, internal struggling, external struggling that they have done. And they are far more strong as individuals through this process. And a lot of them talking about their problems is what has helped the other patient to come up, look at a doctor, talk to a doctor, talk about their problems, come together. So I think this community in itself is very therapeutic. And I would only emphasize that the therapeutic bond that Neetuji had with each one of you, and what Rashmiji is continuing of you, is very, very important. is what keeps me very, very engaged with this community and helps me learn more about you and your lives. And I'm here and I'll continue to be here and learn, because this is not a battle that one person can fight within one lifetime. So a lot of things need to be done in this area, and every individual has a lot to contribute. Of course, it will help your own health, your own mental health, but you are also a part of a larger conversation, larger struggle that is going on for patients in India, for patients who don't even have the little bit of access to resources that we have currently in this platform. So I'm keeping this floor open. Rashmiji, please ask me anything that I should talk more about, or we can take questions.
We will not be taking questions for today, ma'am, because we will keep a separate session for that.
Okay. Okay. All right. So if I have a little bit more time, then
Sure.
maybe I'll just conclude with a few things that has helped. In my opinion, what I've heard that the members have been talking about is talking about, first of all, reflecting on what is happening within my body. Okay, where is the stress? Where is the pain? Where is the anxiety? Am I paying attention to it, or am I ignoring my body's signals? Secondly, rest, relaxation, and the balance of rest, relaxation with exercise and engagement. So you cannot be inactive and you cannot be overexerting. So we are somewhere trying to find a balance between that. So again, having these conversations with all the professionals that you can access, your physiotherapist, or your doctor, your rheumatologist, please discuss this fine balance of what is necessary for you to do, and do only that much. Understand the limits, and don't feel scared by to you as you ought to do it. It's a trial and error. You are the master of your body. Consider this as advice and recommendation. Try it. Look, observe your own body, observe your own reactions, report it back. If there is a positive change, allow yourself the credit for trying. If there's something that's going wrong with things and you are not able to understand, seek out help. Don't blame yourself. Don't blame any other person. That's okay, something bad has happened because you've made a mistake. But the key, I would say, is clarity in communication with your caregiver, with your family members, with your employer if you are working somewhere. And there is nothing shameful about this thing that you are living with. It doesn't define you completely. You still have your say, and you don't need to feel that you lack in something just because you have this illness. So I would say, if you look at lobby groups, if you look at other people with battling with other sorts of illnesses, every illness carries a particular stigma and taboo with it. But over a period of time, when people get together and see that, okay, my experience is reflected in another person's experience, they come together, they share, and they overcome the stigma and the barrier over a period of time. Let's go with that attitude even with this. It's an illness that takes sometimes too long to be diagnosed because a lot of symptoms are hidden. And Neetuji and I have also discussed about that similarity when it comes to mental health issues and systemic sclerosis, that initially when we find the signs and symptoms, we try to hide it. It doesn't really help us in the long run because it delays the diagnosis, it delays help seeking, it delays getting the adequate care, and it also increases cost. I was listening to some of the members and the professionals discussing cost, and I'm like, the cost itself is such a huge stressful factor for so many families, you know. So it also increases when you delay care. The fear and the you from talking and seeking help will also compound your problem later on. So increase awareness, take support, be open in accepting support, and equip yourself internally, emotionally, as well as externally with treatment, medication, and engage with the community, engage socially as well. Don't feel shy to talk about your illness. As far as I understand, Yes, it might be slightly unpleasant and people might be like, okay, what is this? But it is your prerogative, it is your priority. If a person doesn't have to feel ashamed about diabetes, about stress, about depression, about a fracture, about a fever, then a person also doesn't have to feel that they have brought about this illness themselves. So just consider this request from my side. And that's all I have to say for today.